Bam. My peoples. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Side, it's the first one in the building. Salute, my G. My peoples, is Monday. Happy Monday. And, 6:30 in the morning, Eastern time. Enjoy your breakfast if you're just waking up. If you're getting ready to go to work, do what you got to do. Drive safe if you're on your way to work. We about to get it today, y'all. I'm Jay Smith, and we talking boxing. Of course, that's what we do. Y'all know what's about to happen on January 31st. I don't need to fill you in. Now, before we get into all the smoke, everything that's going down today, let me give you guys the scoop, man. So, today I went on my usual early morning run, but it didn't play out the way that I planned it, the way that I wanted to. Why? Well, I busted my ass, yo. 1 mile into my run, busted my shit. And I happened to be recording when it happened. So today I was supposed to run 5 miles. I only ended up running 3. Twisted the shit out of my ankle, y'all. Check this out. You're gonna know how this shit went down. My peoples, good morning to everybody tuning in. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm just gonna show y'all what happened to me this morning, y'all. Look. Look at this. Ankle, y'all. Stepped on that hole. Damn, my motherfucking ankle. That's what happened this morning. So, almost had to limp the rest of the way. But continue on my run, finished it. My ankle a bit swole up, but it's all good. We'll be good by tomorrow. Back up and hitting them straights. That road work. Sometimes it ain't easy, man. It look easy, but you don't know what be happening. So my peoples, today we're gonna be talking about Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, 2 weekends away. This weekend, the following one is going down. The biggest fight in boxing right now is this one. Shakur versus Teo. Today I will be making my official prediction, and I already told you. I knew who was going to win this fight. Okay, I know who's going to win this fight. If you're going to put your money up, let me put you on so you can flip your dough. Hogs, Baffleworth. Ain't no need to cry about it. David got to tell you to run one leg on sore legs. Give the good ankle a rest. Teo going to dog walk Shakur. I mean, I'm good. That's how I finished my run. I didn't do the 5 miles that I was going to because I was on some goofy shit limping. And I ain't gonna cap it. They hurt a little something. But I finished my run. And trust me, I'm gonna be doing my road work tomorrow. we gonna do what we gotta do regardless, my G. Damn, man, I'm excited about this fight, man. I'm super excited about Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson. I know we're going to get the type of fight that a lot of people don't expect. You see the narrative that is going to be boring and that Shakur is going to be running and Teo going to be chasing him. That's not the way it's going down. Hugs. But Teo is going to smash Shakur. Easy work for Teo. Wait for my prediction. Is on the way. But easy work. I don't know all that about easy work, my G. We talking about two championship caliber fighters, elite level fighters, both of them at the top of their game in their prime. I don't know about all that easy work stuff. I will say, in my end, I'm expecting a good, tough, competitive fight. Like I said, I'm going to tell you who the winner is. And of course, we're also going to be talking about Jai Opataya. Stunned the boxing world when he said, I'm signing with Zuffa Boxing. Well, he didn't say it, but they announced it. Jai Opataya, who had been with The Zone, with Eddie Hearn for, I don't know since when, but Eddie made him a star, Before he was with The Zone, I don't know nothing about Jai Opataya other than the run that he had under Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. So they made him a star, and he chose to leave. He's like, nah, that's it. I'm going on my merry way with Zuffa Boxing. Now, is this going to turn out to be a good decision or a bad one? Remember, he's the IBF champion. But Zuffa already said that they're not going to acknowledge the sanctioning bodies. So what's going to happen with his IBF strap? Plus, in the past, he spoke about unifications and becoming undisputed. That seems to be out the window. So I guess we're left to see if it was or if it wasn't a good decision. We're going to see. But back to the main topic of conversation, my peoples. Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Listen, my peoples. I've already proven, established, that Shakur is one of the most hated fighters in the game. That's proven. How did I prove it? Look at the career accomplishments at 28 years old. Not even 30 yet, 28. Winning titles in multiple divisions, unifying titles, beating champions. Somehow, there's people out there who tell you that Shakur is trash, that he's a hype job, that he's not really that good. So you have to wonder, how does a fighter accomplish that much and yet people say that he's not that good? That's why I compare him to Floyd Mayweather. Hugs, I like Shakur. He a great character, but he ain't beating two corny ass. But think about it. Think about this for a second. Compare Shakur to Floyd and see how many people ignored Floyd Mayweather's skills and they just didn't like him, so they never wanted to accept that he was the best. Think about it. Never wanted to accept it. Now, every single thing that they say about Shakur today, the haters, they used to say about Floyd. He don't got no power. He run too much. He not gonna be able to keep him off of him. All of this shit that we hear about Shakur is identical to what we heard about Floyd. And how did Floyd end his career? As the greatest fighter of all time. And then those who won't accept him as the greatest fighter of all time, they still understand that he's one of them. I love you. Go watch your cartoons. They still understand that Floyd is one of the greatest. Like, you can't even have a conversation about all-time greats without bringing up Floyd Mayweather. By the way, my people, let me give you guys the update, man. I'm going to take this shit off right now. Those of you who've been watching Boxing for Breakfast long enough, you guys know that in the beginning, in the first few episodes, I never used to wear glasses. And then all of a sudden, I started wearing them. So I'm going to tell you why, guys. I'm going to tell you why. The reason you see me wearing glasses all the time for the show is because there was some goofballs, cornballs, that want to come on the chat talking about my eyes. Oh, look at your eyes. Motherfucker, this ain't a dating show. This ain't a dating app. We not here to be talking about nobody's eyes and giving nobody no goofy ass compliments. So for 2026, I'm not gonna be wearing the glasses anymore. This is actually the last time I wear them. When I take them off, I'm not gonna wear them for the show anymore. But one comment, you're gonna get one comment and one warning when you say some goofy ass shit. And after that one warning, when you say something else, boom, you get blocked. Nobody want to hear no shit about no eyes. This isn't a dating app, a dating show, a gift. Let's share compliments. We talking boxing. This is a combat sport. People trying to beat each other up. That's what we talking about over here. And your goofy ass, oh, look at your eyes. Nobody want to hear that shit. Nobody want to hear it. Oh, just take them off, dude. Otherwise, now it's about you. Nah. Listen, there's nobody here that's ever made some goofy-ass comments. But eventually, when somebody come and say some dumb shit, y'all know what's going down. Last time wearing the glasses, I'm not wearing them anymore. We good. We ready to go, my peoples. Boxing for Breakfast 2026. This is how we doing it. No more glasses. So, look, I want you to compare how Floyd was always viewed and how Floyd was always the narrative around him. He don't got no power. He's boring. He's putting us to sleep. He runs too much. Everything that we heard about Floyd Mayweather, we're hearing it about Shakur. Same deal. T6, 7, 8. I think there's going to be more people watching the UFC card than boxing. I don't know how you figure that. I don't know. Boxing is two different sports. Fans of boxing going to watch boxing. Fans of UFC going to watch UFC. That's usually the way it plays out. Hugs. Your eyes look fine. I thought you were going to have like a gooberly eye. Nah. No, I'm all right. My eyes is okay. They work just fine. It's just that people be on some dumb shit. Oh, look at you. You got light eyes. Oh, you got nice eyes. Fuck is you doing complimenting a grown man talking boxing, talking about a combat sport? But I digress. Let's forget about that. We talking boxing. My prediction is on the way, my peoples. I'm going to tell you who's going to win this fight. If you're trying to flip your money, listen to me. There's a reason why I'm Jay Stradamus. There's a reason why every time I hit Whatever. That's the reason why I told you Conor Ben was going to win the rematch versus Chris Eubank Jr. when people say he was going to get knocked out. There's a reason I told you Bud Crawford's going to put the beats on Canelo when people say he was going to get knocked out. There's a reason why I told your ass Devin Haney was going to whoop Brian Norman Jr. while people said Norman Jr. was going to knock him out. There's a reason for that. Because I'm Jay Stradamus. I know. I foresee the future. You don't want to believe it, that's okay. Just don't bet money on somebody I'm telling you not to bet money on, because you won't lose your money. You're going to lose your money for not listening to me. Should have been listening. All 2025, you should have been listening. Hugs, I didn't listen to you on Crawford, and I'm not listening to you on Shakur. You're right that time. I'm going to be right this time. Nah, bro. You should be listening. Or at least don't put money. Don't put money on a fighter that I'm telling you is going to lose, because then you're going to lose your money. Hugs. Oh, I'll be putting $250 on Tio. Do you, my G? If that's what you feel you got to do, handle business. Just make sure you come to the show the Sunday after the fight and you see me. John Parham, salute my brother. Bam! COE Shakur is going to cook Tio. Salute my brother. Yo, John Parham, before you showed up, I was talking, letting everybody know, you've been here from the beginning. You know that after a certain amount of time, I started wearing glasses every day. And I've been wearing these dark-ass glasses to the show. Every day wearing glasses. So I let everybody know, look, the reason why I've been wearing the glasses is because I don't want to hear the shit about the eyes. This ain't a dating show. This ain't a dating app. We not here to compliment each other. This a motherfucking combat sport. We talking about people beating each other up. And you know, John, you've been here from the beginning. Goofy showing up. Oh, look at the eyes. We don't want to hear that shit. You're going to get one warning. You make one comment about the eyes, one warning. Then you getting the fuck out of here. So you already know, John, they only get one warning. Then they getting the fuck out of here. We don't want to hear that shit. Now, let me just make my prediction. I don't want to hold back anymore. I'm going to let you know who's going to win this fight, because I've been knowing since they announced who was going to win it. So I got to let you know. My peoples. I thought about predicting a stoppage. I thought about predicting a stoppage for certain reasons, certain things that I see. But I'm not going to predict a stoppage. After assessing everything, all the data, all the numbers, the skills, all the factors that go into play into a fight like this, I've already understood who's winning it. I already see who's winning it. And the winner of this fight is going to be none other than Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson will beat Teofimo Lopez. Good competitive fight. Teofimo's not there to get washed. Teofimo, one of the greatest of this generation too. But Shakur Stevenson is going to be the winner of this fight. You could take that shit to the bank to get some pounds. If you follow me all of 2025 and you understand that I don't miss, don't put your money on Tio, because you might as well flush it in the toilet. You might as well take your money, flush it in the toilet, and watch it going into a little whirlpool and go right down the shitter. There you have it, my peoples. I gave it to you. Do with the information what you will. There you have it. COE Films. He's not stopping Tio. Mastery of the scale. John Parham. Hogs, I'm definitely not sleeping on Tio for sure. COE Films. Take it to the bank to get some pounds, bro. You could take it to the bank. These are the type of predictions that are not easy to make, because Not because I don't know the outcome. I already knew the outcome. But it's because of my expectations, my respect for Teofimo Lopez. You know, I'm not here to tell you that he's a hype job or that he's a bum. No, I understand his greatness. I understand what he brings to the table. I get it. But Shakur Stevenson is on another level. That's just the reality. Been training with Terrence Crawford, been sparring with Terrence Crawford for years at this point. Guess what? All that greatness, Shakur is absorbing it. If you understand that Terrence Crawford is the greatest fighter of this era, and now he has retired, well, what can you expect? Think about it. Whoa. If the greatest fighter in boxing retired, and he's been working with Shakur Stevenson for years at this point, and he's still working with Shakur, what can you expect, my peoples? Supreme Green, good morning, salute my brother. Bam. COE Films, Shakur has the blueprint. He been sparring with Crawford, and Crawford said it himself that nobody beat Shakur. And here's the deal, my brother, that people don't understand. The relationship between Shakur Stevenson and Terrence Crawford is an actual relationship, an actual, you know, they're not just getting together to go in the ring. They hanging out together. They spending time together. Shakur's picking Crawford's brain, learning from him. And he's next. He's the next greatest fighter in the game. Crawford's era finished when he retired. Shakur's era is about to begin. You have to let that sizzle in your spirit so you don't get caught off guard. Hugs, nah. Tio going to mess Shakur up. Tio a beast. Man, get ready to take another L. You saw in 2025 what happens when you go against me. It's going to be more of that in 2026. Get used to it, bro. You can either accept it or take the L down the line. COE Films, iron sharpest iron. That's a fact. That is a fact. And you're going to see that. Look, remember I told you guys, the next face of boxing is going to be either Shakur, Teofimo, Devin Haney, Jerron Boots Ennis, Tank Davis, David Benavidez. One of those six is going to be the next face of boxing. Shakur Stevenson is going to be the first one to get a big win in 2026. Since Crawford retired, Shakur's going to be the first one to say, boom, here it is. Took this nigga out. What? That's going to put the pressure on everybody else who I just mentioned to also get those big wins. That's why boxing is going to be a lot more interesting. Look at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia fighting Mario Barrios. By the way, I haven't even made that prediction because that's a tough fight. And it's a tough prediction to make. For me to predict Barrios versus Ryan Garcia, I actually got to sit down and watch tape. I can't make that prediction off the top of my head. I can't do it. For me to make Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia prediction, I might actually have to sit down and watch some tape. I don't know who's going to win that fight right now. John Pound, we not ducking the like button in 2026. And that's what I'm saying. Boxing for Breakfast is giving you this healthy dosage of sweet science. And all 2026 is going to be crazy. I'm giving you the picks too. I'm helping you make money. Man, you better hit that like button. Double tap that screen. No more ghost watching in 2026. No more sneak hating. Come on now. COE Films. Shakur will have T.O. getting frustrated all night. That's when the levels will start to show. I'm going to keep it 100. I think that T.O.'s going to make it interesting in the beginning because he is going to be aggressive. He's going into this fight understanding that he's not going to be able to outbox Shakur. So the only way that he can win this fight is applying pressure and trying to hurt him. Because if you could hurt a fighter, you could get him off his game. If you can't hurt him, your ass is cooked. So we are going to see an aggressive version of Teofimo Lopez. And by the way, both of these fighters want to be the face of boxing. John Parham, Ryan Garcia in 8. Ooh, Mario Barrios getting slapped, according to John Parham, the general. Listen, John, I'm not sure if that's going to be my prediction too. I really have to think about it. But I guess you got Ryan Garcia catching him with that left hook and handling business. See how he feels. Shakur will have T.O. getting frustrated. Hogs baffles worth. T.O. going to have Shakur crying by the 6. COE Films. I agree. Listen, this fight right here is going to be interesting because Teofimo Lopez is going in there to knock Shakur out. He know he can't outbox him, so he's going there with the intentions of, you're going to win on points. You're going to be winning on points, but when I catch you and I hurt you, I'm going to get you out of there. That's the only way that he can win the fight. T.O. knows it. His pops knows it. Everybody on that team knows. You're not going to outbox Shakur Stevenson. So what's left? Trying to knock him out. He's going to swarm him. He's going to try to apply that pressure. But you know what's interesting about this? Remember leading up to the Zepeda versus Shakur fight, how the whole narrative was that Shakur's going to run and Zepeda's going to chase him? I even had people telling me that Zepeda was going to win because Shakur wasn't going to be able to keep him off of him. And Zepeda was going to cut the ring off. I saw an interview, and it was like a week before the fight. And they asked Zepeda, how do you expect to beat Shakur? And he said, we already know how he fights. But we prepared to cut the ring. We prepared to corner him and apply pressure, and I'm going to knock him out. So William Zepeda and his team fully expected to face a Shakur Stevenson that was going to run all night long. And what did we get? We got an ass whooping inside of a phone booth. From right there. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. Shakur put the beats on him at point blank range, and there was nothing Zepeda could do about it other than get his ass whooped. That's what happens. Now, I know I'm Jay Stradamus, and I'm telling you, I promise you, Zepeda spent a whole goddamn training camp preparing with dudes that's boxers that's going to move around and he's going to chase them. Let me show you. Zepeda spent a whole training camp sparring with dudes that was like this on him. Oh, that's what you thought Shakur was going to do. You thought Shakur was going to run all night long. Then he just went up there and beat your ass. You wasn't ready for that, right? Devin Haney took that same blueprint and used it on Brian Norman Jr. Remember they spent that whole time saying that Devin Haney was going to run, that Norman Jr. was going to chase him, that Norman Jr. was going to cut the ring and beat him up? You think Brian Norman Jr. was ready when he found out, damn, this nigga going to stand right in front of me and trade blow for blow? He was not ready for that. You've been sparring with boxers that are gonna be moving, that you're gonna be chasing around. Supreme Green Long Hair, phone booth, whooping. Not expecting that. Zepeda thought that they was gonna be fighting in a football field. And then Shakur went in, they're like, nah, bro, come step in the bathroom with me. Let's handle business right here. You imagine that? You going to a fight thinking you're gonna be fighting in a football field? And bro, it's like, nah, bro, come in the bathroom with me. Come over here, let me holler at you right quick. That's what Shakur did to Zepeda. And Devin Haney did the same thing to Brian Norman Jr. No, we not gonna fight in the yard. Come right here in the closet. We're gonna handle it right here. Ain't no need for all that space. We're not gonna need that. They wasn't expecting that. And what are we hearing from Teofimo Lopez right now? That Shakur a runner. That he's scared to get hit. Teo posted the meme. Shakur running around the ring. And Teo standing in the middle. Funny. But how is this fight really gonna play out? Is Shakur really gonna be running around the ring? And Teofimo chasing him around? Let Jace Stradamus tell you, my peoples. Let me tell you how it's really gonna play out. Shakur gonna beat his ass. It's gonna be good. He's gonna be competitive. But the better fighter always wins. And Shakur Stevenson is the better fighter. With the tools and resources. Teofimo, great fighter. Shakur Stevenson, greater fighter. And that's where the difference is going to come into play. COE film, Shakur will move, but it's going to be subtle movement. Like Terrence Crawford. Who's going to say Terrence Crawford was running from Canelo? Nobody. Beat his ass. He's going to be giving him angles. Stepping outside of his toes. Pop, pop. But there ain't going to be no running at all. At Zepeda, he thought Shakur was going to be running. Got his ass whooped. Zepeda was like, go ahead. I'm going to meet you in the football field. And Shakur like, nah, wait. What you mean the football field? Step in the bathroom. We're going to handle this right here. Put the beats on him. Easy work. Easy. Made Zepeda look like a Wendy's third shift supervisor. Keep it real, my peoples. Zepeda looked like a part-time boxer in that fight. Like after that fight, he put on his Wendy's supervisor uniform and went to flip burgers. Because some of his employees didn't work that day. They was watching the fight. Side. The salty Canelo fans only say, what do you think of Inoue winning Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year 2025? I mean, I think they salty about Terrence Crawford and the way that he retired. Because obviously, especially Turkey wanted Crawford to stay and fight Benavidez. And Crawford like, what the fuck? Nah, I'm good. I'm going to retire on top as the greatest of this generation. And they didn't like that. So they said, you know what? We're going to give all this shit to somebody else. That's just the reality. The Ring Magazine belonged to Turkey. Crawford said, nah, I'm not fighting who you want me to fight. You crazy? They're not going to give him that. Listen, I fully expected that Bud wasn't going to get Fighter of the Year and Bomac wasn't going to get Trainer of the Year. That's what I expected. Sasha, Shakur made Zepeda look like trash. I'm trying to tell you. And we all know what Zepeda bring to the table. Right before the fight, people were saying Zepeda was going to beat Shakur. But it's just levels to this, man. It's levels. And Shakur is at the very, very highest level. He's going to win this fight. If you want to put your money up, listen to Jake Stradamus, put it on Shakur, or lose your money. Go take a L. Supreme Green long hair. Haters gonna hate. That's what they do. That's what they've always done. So that's what we can expect. And Shakur Stevenson is, without a doubt, one of the most hated fighters in boxing. There's no getting around that. COE Films, Zepeda was levels below Shakur. He found out that night. He thought that he was going in the ring to knock somebody out, to chase somebody around. Teofimo Lopez is not going to have to chase Shakur around. Shakur's going to be right there to beat his ass. COE Films, why can't they see the skill set, Jay? It's obvious. So, I don't think COE Films that they cannot see the skills. I think it's more about them disliking Shakur because he doesn't get hit. They want to see him get hit. They want to see him get hurt. They want to see him go down, go through adversity, all of it. And he just won't. He's just that great. It's the same thing with Floyd. If you think about every criticism, every talking point that they have on Shakur matches what they used to say about Floyd Mayweather. He don't got no power. He run too much. He's boring. Oh, we falling asleep in his fights. That's everything that they said about Floyd, bro. Literally. John Parham, Shakur can't fight the same fight, in my opinion, as he did with Zepeda. So, I feel what you're saying, John, because clearly Teofimo Lopez is a much more dangerous fighter than William Zepeda. But this what I want you to take into This what I want you to take into consideration, John. I want you to think about this, right? Teofimo and Shakur are both fighters who are trying to become the face of boxing. They're both fighters who are trying to get to the #1 pound for pound spot. You know, be the #1 fighter in the world. They both want it. And they both understand, in order for me to go up these rankings, in order for me to get closer to becoming the face of boxing, I need to give an electric performance. I need to show the people that I am who I say I am. I need to get a monster win. I can't just walk out of there with a split decision or barely won. They both have that self-applied pressure of I gotta show them. You already seen Tio and Shakur both saying, I'm gonna whoop your ass. You seen Terrence Crawford saying Shakur gonna beat him up. And it's the same thing with Zepeda. I'm not comparing Zepeda with Teofimo, but all I'm saying, Shakur went into that fight with the chip on his shoulder. I gotta beat this guy up. Everybody saying I'm going to run. Everybody saying it's going to be boring. I got to beat them up so they understand what I bring to the table. Because that's another thing that people forgot about. Shakur is one of the most versatile fighters in the game. He can beat your ass on the football field. He can whoop your ass inside of the phone booth. Wherever you want to do it, however you want to do it, he can get it done. Because people forgot about the way that he beat the shit out of Oscar Valdez. They forgot about the way he beat the shit out of Jamel Herring and stopped him. The same Jamel Herring who dished Lamar Roach his only L. Shakur stopped him. They forget about that. When you ask the haters, the only Shakur Stevenson fight that they remember is Shakur versus De Los Santos. They don't remember no other fight from Shakur. Aroma Sound. They say those things about Devin Haney too. Of course. John Parham. But why did Floyd sell? That's a great question, John. That's a great question. Floyd sold for multiple reasons. I'm going to say a few of them that come to mind. Number one, he sold because he was undefeated. Number two, he sold because his trajectory. We're talking about an Olympic silver medalist who got robbed out of that gold medal, who's undefeated, who became a champion early, who keeps winning. That's part of it. But the main reason I would say Floyd sold is because he went from from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money May. And when he turned into Money May, he became the bad guy. And that's it. Everything changed after that. When he showed up for that De La Hoya fight with that Mexican gear, with the Mexican outfit, the world went crazy. You had half the Mexican community who loved it, who said, nah, he's not disrespecting us. He's showing us love. That's real shit right there. And then the other half of the Mexican community were like, that's disrespectful. How you gonna wear mariachi gear to the fight? You're not Mexican. You can't wear that shit. So Floyd Mayweather, the day he beat Oscar De La Hoya, it's almost like the next day he woke up like the face of boxing. It almost happened instantly. Boom, that's it. This is my shit from now on. And you started to see Floyd Mayweather quickly become the most hated fighter in boxing. Right there. So he knew how to leverage that character of Money May into becoming the face of boxing. All that hate, all the people that didn't like him. Underrated, Will, not for real. I remember that as a kid, bro. You can even go back and watch the replay. When Floyd Mayweather started walking into that arena with that Mexican sombrero and the gear, that shit was crazy. You have people cheering. You can even look at the crowd. You have people cheering. Yeah! And then you have people mad as hell. Motherfucker! You motherfucker! Yo, some people was mad. And some people loved it. Within the Mexican community, Floyd split them. Because there was the Mexicans who loved seeing it, and there was the ones who took it as disrespect. So seeing Floyd walk out like that with that outfit to fight, people don't remember this, man. Time passes too fast, and we forget. You see how Oscar De La Hoya get all this disrespect, and people want to talk about the fishnets and the drugs and whatever else he done? I'm going to remind y'all that Oscar De La Hoya was the face of boxing for a minute, too. Oscar De La Hoya was the guy. So if you not old enough to have seen Oscar De La Hoya fight, I suggest you check him out. Anybody who never seen Oscar De La Hoya fight, do me a favor, please. Go watch some Oscar De La Hoya fights, man. There's a reason why they call him the Golden Boy. COE Films, there you have it. Oscar was the Golden Boy. There's a reason for that. In case you didn't know the reason for that, in 1996, Oscar De La Hoya was the only gold medalist from the USA team. Nobody but Oscar brought home a gold in those Olympic Games. And that's why he became the Golden Boy. Oscar De La Hoya, for his first professional fight, debut, this nigga made like $40,000 for his debut. Go find out what people made for their pro debut. They made shit. Oscar De La Hoya been getting paid from day one. The Golden Boy for real. He was the face of boxing. The day Floyd Mayweather showed up with that Mexican gear and beat his ass, he literally woke up like the face of boxing the next day. The next day that it was Floyd's shit. Took over. Clarence McLean, yo, salute my people. Jay Smith, top of the top. My brother. Clarence McLean is in the building. Salute, my G. COE Films. You have to be 45 plus to really see and understand what you saw back then. I'm 47, my G. I'm 47. And I witnessed Floyd Mayweather doing it. I witnessed him win his first title versus Genaro Hernandez. And make it look easy. Beat the shit out of him. Oh my God, what an ass whooping. He retired Genaro Hernandez. Beat him up so bad Genaro Hernandez never fought again. Forget about asking for a rematch. Beat the shit out of him. Underrated. Well, most boxers that's not big names get like 10K a fight. And they get 10K a fight, but not for their debut. For your pro debut, this fight is out to gain 2 Gs, 3 Gs. Less than 5,000. And then you gotta remember, you get 5,000, and that 5,000 gonna be split between you, your trainer, your everybody in the team. Out of that 5,000, you're lucky to take 2,000 home with you. Wes Dustin, salute my brother. Bam. COE Films. It was an ass whooping like Crawford versus Spence. That type of ass whooping. Floyd beat the shit out of Genaro Hernandez. An ass whooping. The Hydro Grind. Good morning, my peoples. Wes Dustin, De La Hoya. It's a problem in that ring. But that's what I'm saying, Wes Dustin. If you're not old enough, you probably think De La Hoya is just this promoter that be talking crazy and the fishnets and all of the other antics. This guy was one of the greatest in the game. One of the greatest of his era. One of the most accomplished. Let me just point out, in the history of boxing, there are 2 fighters who won titles in more than 5 divisions. Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao. That's in the history. Think about all the great fighters who's moved up in divisions and won titles. If you think about Tito Trinidad, Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, Sugar Ray Leonard, Duran, Tommy Hearns. Look at all the fighters who kept moving up. Nobody won in 6 divisions other than Oscar De La Hoya and Manny Pacquiao. Okay, I'm going to bring something over there. Wait for me in your chair. So you have to respect Oscar De La Hoya, my people. That's why you see that I got mad respect for Oscar De La Hoya. I know what he did inside the ring. I know the ass whoopings that he dished out. And I remember when they robbed him against Trinidad, when he should have won that fight. I remember all that. Come on now. You got to give respect. The Hydro Grind, De La Hoya is a legend and will always be considered in the all-time great list. Wes Dustin, De La Hoya fought Pacquiao and Hopkins. Crazy. De La Hoya was a beast. COE Films, dude was a warrior. Besides all the antics now, Oscar will beat a motherfucker ass. You ain't never lie, my brother. You ain't never lie. So now, we're looking at Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. They're about to get it in on January 31st. And if you just joined the show, my peoples, I already told y'all who's going to win this fight. Jay Stradamus already told y'all. Now, you want to go against me and take an L? Did you not take enough L's in 2025? Shakur Stevenson is going to win this fight, man. That's all there's to it. There's no getting around it. I can only tell you what's going to happen. And then when you got to put your money up, you decide how you're going to put it up. The Jersey Slugger, Golden Boy, was a different beast and a different animal. You damn skippy, my brother. You're right. Oscar De La Hoya was different, and he was down with all the smoke. All of it. There was never a time in that man's career that you say, oh, he ducking. He don't want to fight. Oscar De La Hoya was really about that life. I'll fix it. Don't worry. I'll fix it. Mr. Bonilla, De La Hoya even fought a good fight against Floyd when Oscar wasn't even in top shape. Mr. Bonilla, when Oscar De La Hoya fought Floyd Mayweather, and y'all gotta think, this shows you Oscar De La Hoya's greatness. I want you to think about this. When Oscar De La Hoya fought Floyd Mayweather, he was already a full-blown cokehead, a full-blown cross-dressing alcoholic cokehead, and went to a split decision with Floyd. Went to a split decision. And Floyd refused to give him the rematch. You may recall, Floyd retired, and after the rematch clause expired, he unretired and came back to boxing. Think about that. Floyd could arguably be the greatest fighter of all time, and Oscar De La Hoya took him into a split decision as a full-blown coke cross-dressing head. Come on now. Mr. Bonilla, Floyd let the time run out. Yeah, he allowed the rematch clause to expire because a lot of people don't realize this, but usually a rematch clause has a year. After a year, it expires and you don't have to rematch anymore. So what Floyd did, beat his ass and announced that he would retire. A year and a day later, I'm back, my peoples. He wasn't trying to give him the rematch. So even the cokehead version of Oscar De La Hoya was nasty. Ramirez. But Manny Pacquiao put a rehydration clause on Oscar and brought him to a weight he hadn't been in years. Yeah, he went to that fight to lose. Because at that point, he had been on coke, on alcohol, struggling in his personal life, and then a rehydration clause. He went to that fight to lose. He wanted to give it his all, but that's it. His body was cooked. Mr. Bonilla, Floyd actually ducked. Whoa. He wasn't trying to take that rematch. And it was a smart move not to take it. Why would you? Because Oscar, if he fought Floyd in that state that he was in, imagine if he would have took a rematch in a real training camp. I'm not going to be on coke. I'm not going to be on alcohol. I'm not going to be fish netting with these hoes. I'm going to just be in training camp. Oscar would have been a problem. And Floyd wasn't having that. Forget about that rematch. We ain't doing all that. We ain't not doing it. My peoples, you already know in 2026, we not ghost watching. We hitting the like button for Jay Smith, my people. Double tap that screen. We cooking this healthy dosage of sweet science all 2026. And I'm giving you the picks. I'm telling you who's going to win these fights. You're going to flip your money with Jay Smith. Might as well hit that like button. Mr. Bonilla, Oscar say he wish Manny just KO'd him to take him out of his misery. Yeah, he was cooked. When he fought Manny Pacquiao, he was completely cooked. My peoples, 1 hour into this shit and we don't even got 20 likes. A whole hour? I'm going to take a quick commercial break, give y'all an opportunity to at least hit the like button. Let me get some hydration, something to drink before we kick this thing off once again. Boxing for breakfast, we on it this morning. I'll be right back, my peoples. Quick commercial break. My peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. We're giving you this healthy dosage of sweet science, nice and early in the morning. Listen, man, listen. Randall is asking about Bam versus Inoue. I don't know if we're gonna get that fight this year, bro, because we still have to see if Bam is gonna move up. So, are we gonna get Bam versus Inoue? That's tough. They're not in the same weight class, so we have to see what Bam is gonna do. COE Films, MS, you will lose money. I bet you went for Canelo too, man. Listen, if you lost money on Canelo and you want to lose money on Tio, do you? That's all I can tell you. J Smith, I like Tio for the bout. He looks like he got balance and stability this time around. So interview footage, he was still arrogant. Tio, but in a humble way, if that makes sense. Now look, Teofimo has looked mentally sharp. Leading up to this fight, I will say Teofimo has looked sharp mentally. The way that he's talking, the way that he's carrying himself. And I know that we're going to get the best version of Teofimo Lopez in 2 weeks. But we're also going to get the best Shakur we've ever seen. And when you mash them together, Shakur wins that fight. My peoples, what do you guys think about Jai Opataya going with Zuffa Boxing? I think that he stunned the boxing community with that move because, think about it, Jai Opataya been with Matchroom. Eddie Hearn literally made him a star. And now you decided that you're done, you don't want to do business with him or whatever. That's crazy. That's crazy, my people. I honestly, not me. Nobody within the boxing community would have expected for Jai Opataya to sign with. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. COE Films, they shelving boys now. Was it a smart move? You left the zone, you left Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, who made you a star, made you a world champion, to sign with Zuffa Boxing and be the biggest name over there. Because right now, he's the guy. There's nobody who signed to Zuffa Boxing bigger than Jai Opataya. But here's the magic question. What are they going to do with him? He's the IBF champion, but Dana and them already has said that they don't acknowledge the sanctioning bodies, that they only gonna acknowledge the ring belt and the Zuffa belt. But he's the current IBF champion. Is he gonna have to vacate that belt? Is he gonna be able to defend it versus guys who are sanctioned by the IBF? Remember, at this point, we've never heard Dana or anyone say that they're going to do cross-promotion fights. So for now, I don't know if Jai is going to be able to fight fighters that are signed with Top Rank, Golden Boy, The Zone, Matchroom, PBC, Queensbury. We don't know. Is he only going to be able to fight guys who are on Zuffa Boxing? What are going to be the options? Is he going to fight a nobody in his first fight on Zuffa? A lot of questions. A lot of questions that are going to have to be answered. Because if he's not going to fight nobody, if it's going to be easy cherry picks, then it's going to turn out to be a big mistake. COE Films. If you are not a name, then it's best you leave and go where you can be busy and get money. Randall, DAZN is trying to get rid of pay-per-view on their platform. I think that's a mistake move. Nah, that's not a mistake, bro. Look, I'ma prove to you. I'ma prove it that it's not a mistake. Here's why it's not a mistake, Randall. Jake Paul blew the lid wide open with what he's been doing on Netflix. You know why? Jake Paul versus AJ wasn't pay-per-view. You got Netflix, you got to watch it. Netflix is showing everybody what is the new recipe. Come to a platform that is big enough, popular enough, and we don't need to charge you pay-per-view. Just subscribe to the platform. And look how slick Netflix is. If you got Netflix, you get all these fights for free. And even if you don't want Netflix, you could get it for 1 month just for the fight. There's a lot of people who never had Netflix and they only got it so they could watch AJ pulverize Jake Paul. That's the only reason. They got Netflix for that 1 month. How much money you think they made? So DAZN is doing the same thing. They like, yo, if you got DAZN, you're going to get these fights. Because originally they started that way. They just started throwing in there the little pay-per-views. But that was the original model that they had in mind. If you got DAZN, you get all this. They're going to go back to that. All you got to do is subscribe to DAZN and you get these fights. And if you don't want to subscribe to DAZN, when the fight comes on, pay $40 for the 1 month, and you can still get the fight. And the rest of the month, everything that's going down this month for DAZN, you get that too. Netflix showed us that fighters can make a shitload of money without going on pay-per-view. Look, Jake Paul and AJ combined made over $150 million. And it wasn't on pay-per-view. Think about that. MS, COE Films. I'm just rooting for Tio, but I know Shakur is likely to win most rounds. Mr. Bonilla, look at the Paramount deal UFC got. $1 billion deal. Facts. Netflix wants nothing big fights. Nothing but big fights. What fights you think Netflix would like to have on their network? They want to have the big names. Simple as that. They want to have the big names fighting on their platform. That's why they was going to have Tank Davis and Jake Paul, because Tank is one of the biggest names in boxing. So it don't have to be necessarily the best, because when AJ was fighting Jake Paul, it wasn't the best. Most of us knew he was going to pulverize Jake Paul, but it's two big stars facing each other that the people want to watch. Real good fighters and extremely popular fighters, they're going to get paid like crazy on Netflix. They're going to get paid like crazy on DAZN. Now, somebody, Mr. Bonilla, you mentioned the Paramount deal, $1 billion. But let's see how much the fighters are going to make. Because the last time we saw a little pay scheme that they had going on, it looked like the fighters wasn't making shit. It looks like the champions wasn't making shit. So now we have to wait and see how Jai Opetaya's career is going to play out on Zuffa Boxing. We have to see, are they going to live up to the expectations? Okay, that's okay. Don't worry.
De lo que se pega, de así, ¿a dónde está papá?
Hold on, give me a second. Let me put this on right here. You can't have both at the same time. Hold on, my peoples. I'm over here putting my son's cartoons on and shit. What's your cartoons? Did you take them off?
Es por eso que yo me convencí de papá.
Suey Films. True, they want big fights, but the zone will be the fight mecca, and eventually it will get there. Mr. Bonilla, the zone will show every other event. The big events, Netflix will want them. Kind of like what Jake does. Big fights on Netflix, smaller fights on the zone. Even though, to the hardcore fans, those smaller fights are big fights to us too. Look, right now, all of the promotional companies have, big names. Because if you think about it, who's Jerome Booth and his sign with? Eddie Hearn. He's going to be fighting on the zone. So I think all of the promoters have good fighters so that we could see big fights in all of these platforms. No one platform is just going to be it. But the more you open up the field so that fights can happen everywhere, the more fights we get as fans. J. Jack, Tank Davis was supposed to open the floodgates. The allegations against him, I think, are false, but it's always so-ish Netflix and Paramount the future. The zone talent will age out in 6 years. Nah, I don't see that happening at all. I see the zone is going to be one of the most important boxing platforms. I have a feeling you don't like Eddie Hearn, and your conclusion is based upon that. But there is absolutely nothing out there to suggest that the zone is going anywhere. You got to remember, the zone are the innovators. I'm going to remind you, when somebody asked Leonard Ellerby about Tank fighting guys that are with Eddie Hearn, and Leonard Ellerby said, we fight on Showtime. Our guys are never gonna fight on a little app. An app. Well, it turns out that now everybody's fighting on an app. And this whole shit got started by the zone, bro. You gotta understand that. The zone literally started the app model that we see today. So how can you even predict that they're gonna age out when everybody else is copying what they started off? What people said could not be done because fans would only watch boxing on TV. Fans is not gonna subscribe to no app. Now we talking about fights on Netflix. Now we talking about Paramount. Now we talking PBC went to Amazon Prime after LB said they would never fight on the app. Bro, like it or not, the zone is one of the biggest boxing apps in the world and the innovators of premium boxing on an application. They not going nowhere, bro. If that's what you're expecting, you're not going to see it happen. West does it. The zone makes you buy the app and the pay-per-view. They suck. They said originally wouldn't charge beyond the subscriber fee. You see West does it? And guess what? They're actually trying to go back to that. Just the app. They saw Netflix doing it, and they said, yo, we're going to go to that. Which, by the way, let's not act like they put every fight on pay-per-view now. Most of the fights on the Zone, you just got to have the Zone. If you look for one pay-per-view that they put up, it's 10 cards that wasn't on pay-per-view, Wes does it. So we have to see the scope of the whole thing. Every fight is not on pay-per-view now. As a matter of fact, every time Jai Opetaia fought, it wasn't on pay-per-view. It was free to watch. You just had to have the app. So a lot of the shit that been going down on the Zone, you just gotta have the app. COE Films. Remind everyone that Turkey owns boxing part of the Zone. People forget that it's checkers, not chess. So Turkey, his whole situation with the Zone, with Matchroom, with Golden Boy, with all these promoters, I'm not sure if it has changed after Zuffa boxing. Why I say that? Because it seems like there's a conflict of interest there. Where's the conflict of interest? Jai Opetaia was signed to Eddie Hearn. This is an Eddie Hearn fighter. Eddie Hearn made him a star. Eddie Hearn got him that ring belt that he got right now. And now you leave Matchroom and go to Zuffa boxing. If I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm mad as hell. If I'm Eddie Hearn, I'm like, damn, Turkey and Dana, these motherfuckers is my enemy. They taking my fighters. That's how we doing it these days. Business at the highest level is cutthroat as hell. I'm going to tell you what's the only thing. When Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fought each other, there was only one thing that I didn't like about the lead up and the way it played out. Think about this. BVO Sports TV, salute my brother, bam. Think about this. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez was the biggest fight in boxing. And who was involved in that fight? Who promoted that fight? Dana White, who's never promoted boxing in his life, and His Excellency Turkey Al-Aushi never promoted boxing in his life. Like, Turkey is literally a super fan. He's a super fan. A few years ago, he was just watching boxing on TV like everybody else. Got the money, said, you know what, I'm going to get involved myself. He's a super fan. So, Turkey, who had been received into boxing with open arms by Eddie, by Oscar, and by other people in boxing, decided that the biggest fight in boxing, he would not involve any of them. Eddie, Oscar, PBC, Bob Arum, nobody in boxing was involved in Crawford versus Canelo. This was a Turkey and Dana White affair. And I thought that was nasty work from Turkey's side. Because if I'm Eddie Hearn and I'm bringing you in, I'm accepting you into boxing, and I say accepting you Because for Turkey to have all the knowledge that he gained, he had to go around these people. He had to learn about the business of boxing. He had to learn about who are the major players and how we move, how we operate. And once he learned those things, what he do? Gave all of them the boot and got together with Dana. Yeah, Dana, let's work together, me and you, and let's make this whole super shit. Fuck all these niggas. Damn, the same people that let you in and open the door and put you on. Now you just now you stealing they fighters too, because Jairo Pataya was an Eddie Hearn fighter. Took him too. Come on, man. West Dustin, Turkey got Eddie that AJ Paul check. He all right. Bro, West Dustin, if Jake Paul don't do no business with Turkey, how exactly did Turkey get him that fight, bro? Jake Paul never done business with him. Turkey not doing business with Netflix. How exactly Turkey give him that fight? Turkey had no say in that fight at all. AJ is signed with Eddie. AJ signed with Matchroom. And Jake Paul does business with Netflix. How are you giving the credit to Turkey for a fight that he don't got nobody signed in? None of the fighters who fought was signed with him, and they didn't fight on his platform. How you give it to Turkey, West? Explain that to me, bro. COE Films, Jay, that's because Crawford, not Canelo, have promoters they're assigned to. That's why Tank and Shakur are not happening. Promoters in the way. No. Tank and Shakur is not happening because promoters is in the way. It's not happening because Tank don't want to fight him. It's not happening because the PBC don't want that fight to happen. Two fighters can only fight if they want to fight each other. Especially if they stars. If they stars, nobody forces you to do what you don't want to do. Nobody could force Tank to fight Shakur. If he don't want to fight him, he's not going to fight him. Mr. Bonilla, to Turkey, the money he spent was just the price of admission. Yeah, of course, that's what it was. Turkey spent money with everybody. They let him into boxing, and now he doing him. West Dustin, damn, I thought Turkey was involved. My bad, Jay Smith. Nah, Turkey has zero involvement in that fight, my brother. He's not involved with the promoter. He's not involved with any other two fighters, and he has nothing to do with Netflix. Turkey's never staged anything on Netflix. Mr. Bonilla, AJ not only signed with Matchroom, he has a lifetime deal with them. He a Matchroom fighter for life. He said it himself. AJ is, without a doubt, one of the most loyal fighters you'll ever see. But Eddie has also been the most loyal promoter to his fighter that you ever see. Look, honestly, I wish all the promoters was like that with their fighters. Whether you like Eddie Hearn or not. Just yesterday, I seen a post where he's in the gym with AJ, both of them riding a stationary bike, getting their little workout in. And Eddie's like, yo, AJ says thank you to everybody, you know, for the support and all of that with the tragedy that he went through. But Eddie Hearn has been there for AJ on a personal level. Side, Eddie is mad loyal to AJ. And the same in reverse. But that's what I'm saying. You see the type of relationship that they have where Eddie goes jogging with him, goes to the gym with him. Like, actually spends time with his fighter. So AJ's not going anywhere. One of the biggest stars in boxing is always going to be loyal to Eddie Hearn and Matchroom because the way he get treated over there. But you got to look at what His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh did. He went into boxing, became cool with these promoters, and now he already started taking their fighters. Look, man, listen, I'm going to tell y'all like this. Business at the highest level is mad cutthroat. Mad cutthroat. That's just the reality. That's how business is. That's why, me personally, my peoples, I don't want to do business. I don't want to be at the highest level where we all cutting each other's throats and trying to hate on each other, trying to steal from each other. I don't even want to be at that level, y'all. I don't want nothing to do with that. Side, Hearn's first big star was AJ, the kind that helped propel his promotional career, of course. AJ has been the flagship fighter over there. Frontline, Smith, Chat. Salute, family. Bam. Yo, what you think about Jai Opataya going from Matchroom to Zuffa boxing? Was it a good idea? Is this thing going to backfire? What's going to happen with his IBF strap? Is he going to have to vacate? Is he going to get stripped? Is he going to be able to defend it against fighters who are signed with another promotional company? That's why I think he's just going to end up getting stripped or vacated. Because if Zuffa Boxing is not willing to do business with Matchroom, with Queensbury, with PBC, Top Rank, if they're not going to do business with any of them, what happens if one of their guys is the mandatory for the IBF belt Jai Opataya has? What then? Are they gonna allow him to defend versus a Matchroom fighter? Versus a PBC fighter? I don't think so. So you're either gonna have to vacate or they're gonna strip you if they don't let you defend your titles. Frontline. I'm not a fan of anything Turki does. I think Turki is doing a power move that's going to backfire. Look, when it comes to Jai Opataya, we're going to find out if it was a smart move or a horrible move real soon. Side, I wonder the same thing. Who is Jai going to make his debut on Zuffa Boxing against? Because if it's a cherry pick, if it's an average Joe that he's going to knock out in a couple of rounds, you know it's going to be a shitstorm of criticism. Like this what you signed over there for to get this? When you could have been trying to do unifications? When you could be trying to go for undisputed? When we was just talking about, whoa, when Benavidez and Jai Opataya meet up. What now? So there's a certain level of uncertainty as far as what's next for Jai. Okay, we know that he signed to Zuffa Boxing. Who is he going to fight? That's the big question. Who? We don't know. We're gonna find out. Look, man, all I'm trying to think is if they convinced them to sign with Zuffa Boxing, there's got to be something out there that we don't know. There's got to be something that we just don't know yet that made them say, yeah, I'm going to sign with y'all. Got to be. Maybe they signing somebody else, a few other fighters that haven't been announced or something. Sai Benavidez gonna beat the shit out of Zurdo. You ain't never lie, bro. Zurdo looking slow as hell. Last couple of fights, looking slow. You don't want to be slow versus David Benavidez that's going to throw 7,000 punches per minute. You're going to have a problem. So if they make that fight, I fully expect David Benavidez to be the first one to knock Zurdo out brutally. That's how I see it. My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I hope you guys enjoy it. I know I didn't even get to 30 likes in an hour and a half, which is crazy work. A lot of ghost watching, a lot of sneak hitting, but it's still all love, man. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Salute to Sai, Skucky, John Parham was in the building, Frontline, Superman Green, Long Care was in the building, BVO Sports TV, West Dusset, Randall, MS. Who else was in the building, y'all? Everybody else who tuned in, man. Ramirez, what's the deal, my G? The Hydro Grind, Mr. Bonilla. Everybody else who tuned in, man. Y'all already know what it is. I do this for you guys. I do this for the love of the sweet science. Another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, y'all. Jay Smith, I'm signing off. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Appreciate everybody who's here every morning to talk about the sweet science. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow, man. 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to do it again, my peoples. I'm out of here, yo. Bam. Skucky, stay blessed as well, my G. Peace.